G'day, Aaron. I'm guessing you're pretty excited about getting out of quarantine. Earlier in the spell, we had a bit of a chat about people that might be playing or the lineup that you were thinking about. Can you firm up any of those names, particularly in the middle order now?
We're going to keep that to ourselves until the toss tomorrow. Quarantine, it's been tough, but it's been really good. They've looked after us here really well in New Zealand. But the boys are chomping at the bit to get out at 8 o'clock tonight. I think we're out. So, really looking forward to getting out and starting the series.
Is the intention still to give everyone, if not the majority, a go?
The first aim is to obviously win the series, but there's also a bit of information grabbing throughout the series with guys in some different roles potentially. But no, we're still, our number one focus is to try and win the series. We're coming up against a great New Zealand side, quite experienced as well. So we're going to have to be on our game.
And what did you make of their? I mean, they've named a very settled lineup, just the big players really. What did you make of that squad, and how tough will the challenge be?
Oh, it'll be very, very tough, no doubt. It was a squad that we're expecting. I think there was one change to a squad that we thought might have been picked, and a lot of experience there, a lot of world-class players. Obviously, you got Williamson leading the side with Martin Guptill at the top of the order there, who's a great white ball player for New Zealand. And then you've got the experience of Bolton Southey, Santner, Sodhi, Jimmy Neesham as well. So, it's a very settled side. It's a very experienced side. And, like I said, we're going to have to be at our best to win.
Yeah, hey Aaron, Ollie here from TV3 in New Zealand. You touched on Martin Guptill before. He's probably been a little bit short of runs lately, and I suppose the threat from the younger openers coming through. I just wonder if you could talk, in your experience. I know he's a guy you've played against a lot. What sort of threat does Guppy pose to you guys at the top of the order? Because I suppose all it takes is a few good ones, and he's away laughing.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a great player. He's had a lot of success in one day and T20 cricket. He's played some great knocks against us as well. So, as you know, with guys, especially who are so dynamic at the top of the order, it sometimes can take one shot, one innings, and they're back flying again. So he's someone that we're doing a lot of planning for, a lot of preparation. You never take anyone with his quality and skill lightly. We've seen in the past how he can take a game away from you so quickly in that power play. So we're going to have to be really on from the ball one. If you let guys get away, the flow-on effect from that with everyone in their side batting a little bit deeper, it's huge. So hopefully it stays that way. But it's going to be a good contest early on with the new ball, no doubt.
And obviously, all the talk here has been about Kyle Jamieson and the new multi-million-dollar man, I suppose. What do you know about Kyle, or have you seen much of Kyle play? And I suppose, again, what sort of threat does he pose, particularly with that probably extra height and bounce he might get?
Yeah, the bounce is obviously a key one. I've seen him bowl a lot in Test cricket just on TV, but haven't seen a huge amount apart from a bit of footage we've been watching of him in the shorter formats. He can smack him with the bat, height, bounce, which can be tough to face if you haven't faced it for a while. Or we've got some young guys in the squad who mightn't have been exposed a huge amount to bowler types like that. So it's just going to be guys' individual plans how they deal with that. But I think he's someone who is obviously be pretty happy with himself at the moment. So it's important to try and start well against them guys.
Cool, thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Oh, g'day, Aaron.
G'day, mate.
You spoke about Martin Guptill there, and I know you obviously know how dangerous a player he can be, but does your approach change at all when you know you're coming up against a player who's been struggling a bit lately against other teams in other games? Does it change your approach in terms of when they come out?
Oh, not really, mate, because I think that especially with someone where you know where he's going to bat at the top of the order. So your plans are probably going to be a little bit, exactly the same to what they would be if he was coming off a huge amount of runs. So you don't ever try and plan or take away any of his skill, because he's such an important player for New Zealand. We know that if he gets off to a fly, New Zealand bat around him as well, and then you've got Williamson on the back of that, so they complement each other really well, and they've got a lot of guys in their squad now with Seifert and these guys who all lap and ramp and have got all the tricks. So our plans won't change a huge amount, but once you hit the ground and you get a bit more information out of the game, 1 or 2 overs in, then you might start trying to tweak it a little bit. But in terms of first off, no, you're going with your number one plan generally.
And just in terms of the Black Caps, I mean, I guess it's been almost 12 months since you guys have come up against them. In terms of the last 4 or 5 months, how much attention have you guys, or you particularly, been able to pay to what they've been doing, and I guess the continuation of the success they're having in all 3 formats?
Yeah, well, they're a well-drilled quality side that do the basics really well for a long period of time. So, yeah, we've been watching them, no doubt. We've been watching a bit of video of the guys who we mightn't have seen a huge amount or played a huge amount against to try and keep getting as much information as we can and making sure that our plans are as solid as they can be leading up to game one. And then after that first game, you sit back and you reflect on them and see what you can do differently. But like you said, they're a world-class side who have success everywhere around the world, at home and away. So you can never, ever take New Zealand lightly. You have to come 100% prepared.
Great. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, g'day, Aaron. Just wondering how you and the team are feeling after 2 weeks in the hotel. Are you out yet?
We get out at 8 o'clock tonight, mate. We've been out training. I think we've had one full rest day and one optional day, which quite a few guys took. But apart from that, we've been training out at the New Zealand Cricket High Performance Centre for the last 2 weeks almost, and it's been brilliant to get out of the hotel for 3 or 4 hours a day and run around, play some soccer, have a hit, do a little bit of match scenario type stuff. So the time's actually gone really quick. They've looked after us brilliantly here.
And your thoughts on the option the other night, not getting a deal yourself? Were you disappointed not to be able to play, or you maybe a bit happy that you get to spend a bit of time at home?
Oh, it would have been nice to be playing again. It's an amazing competition to be a part of, but it wasn't unexpected that I didn't get picked up, to be honest, mate.
Happy to be home, or?
I'd prefer to be playing cricket, but yeah, a little bit of time at home mightn't be the worst thing. I think having a quite a full schedule since August when we left for the UK, and a few times in quarantine and a lot of time in hubs and bubbles. Yeah, I think just getting home and recharging the batteries might be nice. I know my wife's definitely looking forward to it.
I should be happy. Cheers.
Thanks, Aaron. Just interested in what you said at the top about sort of, really prioritising winning. I think you said earlier in the quarantine that sort of winning wasn't the be-all and end-all. Has there been a shift at all? Have you sort of reevaluated and thought that, it would be really nice to walk away with a series win, or has that always been the mantra?
No, that's always been front of mind. Obviously, winning that's your job as a professional sportsman. When you're representing your country, you want to win each and every time. But that was I probably didn't frame it right the first time. It's still with a focus to winning every game, giving ourselves the best possible chance. If there's an opportunity to keep getting information around certain players and roles and situations, then we won't hesitate to do that, as long as winning is still front of mind.
Having been there for 2 weeks and had a couple of those training sessions at the High Performance Centre, is there one or two kids that you're really excited about that you think, based on training form, can sort of really put their name up in lights over the next couple of weeks?
Oh, I think obviously Jai, we know how skillful he is, but to see him back bowling fast and swinging the ball over here has been really impressive. Obviously Josh Philippe, we've seen how dynamic he is and the form that he's been in throughout the Big Bash. So really excited for him to get an opportunity at some point throughout this series. Riley Meredith's been right up there with his best in these training situations and match simulation stuff. So yeah, it's bloody exciting when you've got a lot of guys who haven't played much for Australia. The excitement, the energy that they bring is outstanding.
And just on your own form, what have you been working on the nets? I think you said that you were looking at some footage during the break. When you actually picked up the cricket bat again, what have you got to work on?
Oh, I've been working on just a few little technical things, trying to get a little bit less weight on my front foot. At times I can get a little bit flat-footed and my feet get planted, and then I struggle to move again. I have my initial movement, then I get a little bit stuck. So just sort of deloading that front leg a little bit, allowing me to move. I've talked a lot and worked a fair bit with Andrew McDonald, who I go to every time things don't seem quite right, and he seems to sort it out pretty quick. So yeah, it's been nice to just have a good chunk of just training and focusing on a few little technical changes.
And just last one, if I can, just a left field one, but a bit of talk last week about the Marsh Cup back in Australia, just sort of as Australia's captain. Do you think, I mean, that competition's been diminished a little bit through your playing days. Do you worry now that young players aren't playing enough 50-over domestic cricket as they come through? And yeah, is that something you've given any thought to?
Oh yeah, I think that the amount of cricket, 50-over cricket that domestically we play compared to everyone else around the world is chalk and cheese. I think for 5 games this year, it might have been 6 last year, 6 or 7 last year, compared to other countries playing 10 plus games every year. I think that's something that I would love to see players playing more, particularly young guys who are still trying to learn their craft and learn how to go about the best way for them to go about playing 50-over cricket with ball, bat, spinners. I'd love to see more of it played. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that obviously this year is totally different with COVID and everyone understands that, but I would love to see more get played. I think when I first started playing, it was 10. You'd play 1 game at the start or the end of a Shield game, and that was great because you're playing consistently, but you're also getting 10 games of experience. So by the time I was maybe 24, I'd played maybe 40 or 50 games, whereas guys now might have played 15 during that period.
What about the way it's set up? Do you think there's any merit in having separate red and white ball contracts at state level and potentially even playing under the Big Bash model instead of the state model?
Oh, I haven't really thought too much about that, to be honest, mate. I don't mind the idea of white ball and red ball contracts. But again, if you're only playing a handful of games, is it worth it? I'm not sure. I think it's just one of those things that we've got to probably relook at it again and try and find some different ways to go about it, to play a little bit, to play deeper into the season, to play one-day cricket, because I think having it all done by sort of September, October, and then playing no one-day cricket again until the same time next year, it's not ideal when you're trying to pick teams for the middle of January and then a tour generally on the back of the Australian summer to New Zealand, South Africa, somewhere like that, where India, where you're trying to pick guys. Well, then you're picking 50-over players on Big Bash form. Guys haven't played 50-over cricket since September, October. This is going back last season and before that. So I'd like to see it reshaped, but how that looks, I'm not exactly sure.
Thanks so much. Good luck tomorrow.
Cheers, mate.
Aaron, I was just wondering how Riley and Jai have been since their IPL deals. Have they changed their demeanour at all?
No, they haven't. Well, maybe Riley went a little bit softer in soccer yesterday than what he has been in the past. A few of the boys were into him, but everyone was super excited for them. We had a day off the day after the auction, which was planned from the start, and yeah, a full training session yesterday that was high intensity, and they were brilliant. Yeah, very happy for them. They're guys who are starting out a long journey in their career, and yeah, super excited for them to get an opportunity over there.
How's this tour feel compared to the one in 2018? And who are the guys in the squad that are the louder voices without some of the bigger players over there?
Well, Matty Wade, he's always got a pretty big voice in a group, and just he's non-stop along with Maxi. It's been a great feel around the group. Everyone's nice and relaxed. Everyone's trained really hard. We've done a couple of nice big fielding sessions. Everyone's been really high intensity, so couldn't be happier with how it's going. It's a great feel around the group, which is nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, Aaron, I just want to ask a sort of a bit of a general one on T20 cricket. Is that form of the game one of those formats where I suppose reputations maybe don't count as much, and that I guess the team that's very well drilled can be the one that maybe knocks off one that has sort of a bigger reputation and bigger names?
Oh, absolutely. And I think when you're trying to structure up a T20 side, you're looking for that mix of stability and and flair and match winning ability. Obviously, everyone has match winning ability, but when you look at someone like Maxi, you look at someone like Guptill, Rohit Sharma, Joss Butler, these guys around the world, they're guys that if they have a day out, your team generally wins. So, but you can't have a full team of them. You probably need a little bit of stability around that. But well drilled, I think doing the basics, even in T20 cricket, is so important, whether that's in the field. You take half chances in this format of the game, you get that run out, and the whole momentum of the game changes really quickly. So having a well-drilled side, having an experienced side with a little bit of youth in there and a little bit of ignorance, no one with any baggage, they just go out there and try and smack it or execute under pressure. It's brilliant to see. So I think that combination of both is really important.
Thanks, Aaron. Just one away from the cricket. This is obviously always a pretty tough year for people, a tough part of the year for people in Christchurch. Tomorrow is 10 years since the earthquake. Just wondering whether you guys are aware of that and whether you've got anything planned or you'll attend any of the memorials or anything like that.
Yeah, so tomorrow myself and Andrew McDonald will represent Australia, or our cricket team, at the memorial service and lay a wreath along there with Kane and Gary, I think.
Beautiful, thank you.